The game that ended us. They say never ask questions you're not prepared to hear the answers to. But what no one warns you about is what happens when you don't even ask. And the answer still comes. It was just supposed to be a fun night. Casual get-together at a friend's place. One of those cozy evenings filled with wine, soft music, string lights on the back deck, a make-your-own taco bar, and the warm laughter of familiar people echoing through the house. A grown-up kind of fun, the kind where you kick your shoes off, your shoulders relax, and for a little while everything feels easy. We were celebrating our friend Sarah's birthday. Just a dozen of us, old friends from college, some couples, some single. All in that stretch of our 30s where everyone's either getting married, getting divorced, or thinking way too hard about both. And then someone, a little tipsy and trying to spice things up, suggested we play a game. Let's do a grown-up version of Truth or Dare, they said. Just truths. Everyone writes a deep question on a slip of paper, folds it up, tosses it in a bowl, and we take turns pulling one out and answering it. No passes. No lies. There were groans, nervous laughter, jokes about regretting it already. But no one objected, including me. I glanced at my husband, Adam, sitting next to me on the couch. He had his arms slung around my shoulders, his eyes soft with that familiar warmth I used to lean into without thinking. He looked relaxed, comfortable. I remember thinking, what's the worst that could happen? I wish I'd known the answer. Adam and I had been married for 6 years. We were the kind of couple people called solid. Not flashy, not full of grand gestures, but steady. We had a rhythm, a quiet, ordinary life that I thought we both cherished. Saturday morning coffee runs. Sunday night meal planning. Weeknight dinners in front of our favorite shows. A dog named Molly who slept at the foot of our bed. Silent moments that didn't feel awkward, just understood. We had our disagreements like anyone else. Chores, how to spend vacations, whether to finally upgrade the car. But nothing explosive, nothing that ever made me question us. At least not until the last year or so. Something in Adam had shifted. It wasn't dramatic. No fights. No betrayal I could name. Just this absence. He was there but not really there. He stopped asking about my day. Stopped teasing me in the kitchen while I cooked. Started spending more time working late, or getting lost in his phone. I asked him once if something was wrong. He said he was just stressed. That teaching had gotten harder, that he was tired. I just need some space, he said. I believed him. 'Cause I trusted him. 'Cause I wanted to trust him. Because the alternative, that he'd fallen out of love with me, was too frightening to consider. So I stopped pushing. I told myself it was just a rough patch. We still had our rituals. We still held hands at parties. And when we were invited to Sarah's birthday, I didn't hesitate. I thought it would be good for us. A night out, a chance to reconnect. And for the first couple of hours it felt like we had. Adam was funny, affectionate, even playful. He laughed easily. He squeezed my hand. Whispered silly jokes in my ear. For the first time in months I felt hopeful. Like maybe whatever distance had grown between us was starting to close. Then came the game. The questions started out light-hearted. Embarrassing stories. Childhood fears. One person admitted to peeing in a public pool once. Another confessed they'd had a crush on someone in the room. We were all tipsy and giggling, letting our guards down. Then someone drew the next question and read it aloud. Have you ever fallen in love with someone else while being in a relationship? The laughter died instantly. The room fell still, like all the air had been sucked out. People shifted uncomfortably. No one wanted that question. And then Adam spoke. I'll take that one, he said casually. I smiled, half expecting a joke. Maybe a sarcastic story about falling in love with a sandwich or something dumb. But he didn't laugh. Instead he said, yeah, I did. A couple years ago. Silence. At first I didn't even react. Couldn't. It was like the words floated past me. Too unreal to register. Thought this is a joke. Any second now he'd say just kidding. But he didn't. Someone, I don't even know who, whispered, who? And then he looked right at me, his wife, and said, it was no one you know. Just a coworker. didn't go anywhere. I never acted on it. My heart stopped. I felt the heat rush to my face, my ears ringing. I couldn't speak. My voice was gone. You didn't tell me. I finally managed to ask, my voice barely a whisper. Adam shrugged. There was nothing to tell. I didn't cheat. It was just feelings. It passed. But something in me knew that wasn't true. You don't just confess something like that in front of a room full of people unless you want the fallout. Unless some part of you is ready to watch it burn. He hadn't slipped. He hadn't been cornered. He had chosen that moment, under the safety of a party game, to tell the truth he never had the courage to tell me directly. The party unraveled after that. People made excuses, mumbled goodbyes. No one wanted to witness what came next. I just sat there, staring at the man I thought I knew, the man who dropped a truth bomb and acted like it was nothing. The car ride home was silent. Not angry silent. Just he. He didn't apologize. Didn't explain. Just said, I thought you deserved to know. I asked him one question. Do you still love me? He didn't answer. And in that silence, I finally understood. I didn't need the words. The silence was loud enough. I moved out a week later. No dramatic fights. No screaming. No cheating scandal. Just the quiet collapse of something I thought was unshakable. People didn't understand. He didn't cheat. Everyone gets a crush. Maybe he was just being honest. But they didn't see what I saw. They didn't see the way he chose to tell me. Not in private, not with compassion, but in front of a dozen people, wrapped in a game like it was entertainment. That wasn't honesty. That was emotional detachment dressed as transparency. That was a controlled demolition. And it worked. In the days that followed, Adam didn't reach out. Didn't ask me to come back. Didn't suggest therapy or closure. He just let me go. Which told me everything I needed to know. He had already left. That night was just when he finally said it out loud. I've replayed that moment over and over. Wondered what I missed. Whether I should have asked harder questions. Seen the signs sooner. But deep down I did see it. I just didn't want to face it. The late nights. Distance. The way he stopped touching me, stopped looking at me like I was something precious. I told myself we were in a rut. But ruts don't end with public confessions. Love doesn't hide like that. It doesn't drop bombs in a circle of friends and walk away from the wreckage without looking back. The part that hurts most isn't that he caught feelings for someone else. It's how little he thought of me when he finally decided to share it. It's the way he didn't protect my heart when he broke it. Here's what I've learned. You can stay loyal to someone who's already halfway out the door. You can cling to routines, to meal plans and weekend errands and anniversary dinners, long after the love is gone. But truth doesn't always arrive gently. Sometimes it shows up in a living room full of people, inside a party game, wrapped in a smile that no longer means safety. And sometimes that's the only way you finally see things clearly. I don't hate him. I don't even wish I could undo that night. Because in some painful, necessary way, that moment gave me the one thing I hadn't let myself have. Clarity. Freed me. So if you're in a relationship that feels uneasy, where the silence is louder than the words, don't wait for a game to give you the truth. Ask the hard questions. Say the scary things. And remember, the way someone delivers the truth will always tell you what kind of love they think you deserve. If they don't guard your heart when they speak it, they were never meant to keep it.